everybody, thank you for joining me today. Today I am sharing my bullet journal migration and setup. I'm using my new B5 Archer and Olive notebook. Since this size is new to me, I decided to include a grid spacing guide. I used washi tape to tape it inside of my cover just so that I can flip it open and still have access to it regardless of where I am in my bullet journal. So I'm excited to get started with that and see how that goes. I can share this over on my blog. If you are moving into a B5 size as well and would like the work done for you, you can head on over there and I'll have the spacing guide for you there as well. So my quote for my new notebook is, "It's okay to struggle, but don't give up." I've been struggling a lot lately with creativity and just staying motivated, so that quote really spoke to me. I meant to attribute it, which I'll let you know down in the comments below who said the quote. But here I'm setting up a future log. Now, I got the idea for this future log from Jashi Koren. She has it so that it's for the next year as well. So for example, when I set up my bullet journal in January 2021, it went January through to December. So now that I'm setting this one up, I made it from July to June 2022. I thought that was so great for being able to capture anything that's coming up beyond December, especially because in theory that would be planned now. And when I set up my bullet journal for January, I did tabs, and I actually really loved having the tabs, so I decided to recreate that as well. I also did stamping again, and this time I just used my tried and true Amy Tangerine and Studio L2E Tall and Skinny stamp set. I also decided to do my lettering and decorative elements with my acrylographs. I'll let you know down in the comments below again which colors I used. This was a really fun color scheme for me and different as well, so it was kind of fun just to play around with it and see. I am going to apologize for the headshots. This notebook is a lot bigger, so I had to change my settings, making my filming settings a little bit. And so I'm just having to adjust, but you get to see how I plan in a messy bun and a t-shirt. I'm also going to apologize. I did have some filming issues later on in the video, but I do share a flip through at the very end, so you can check that out to see what everything ends up looking like. I ended up moving over most of the layouts that I set up in January, and then I made in a couple adjustments to a few, which I'll talk about when they come up and tell you what I was thinking. I decided to do a bit of a retro abstract theme, and the stamp set I used is from Feed Your Craft, and I'll link that down below as well. I thought the kind of retro elements with the colors I picked were a lot of fun, so I ended up stamping on top of the acrylographs after waiting until they were dry. That is the operative word there. The acrylographs have to be dry. And then I stamped over top of them. Now I just used my VersaFine Fine Detail pigment ink. The disclaimer here is as well, you have to wait for the ink to dry. The ink sitting on top of the acrylographs actually took a long time to dry, so you just have to keep that in mind. That's why I put the tissue paper or the tracing paper in between the pages, just to stop the smudging and the transfer to a different page. So this is one of the layouts I adjusted a little bit. This is my content schedule. I want to be more intentional with my content, and I found when I had this content schedule a year ago, it was really great and easy to stick to. So I'm recreating that here. I've split the months into 4-week months and 5-week months, and that's what you see on the left-hand side of the page. And then depending on what week it is, that will determine what my content will be. And that's what you see on the right-hand side of the page. My 4 blocks of content are layouts, creative, reviews, theory, and then of course the 5th one are bullet journal setups. Those are pretty straightforward, so I didn't include ideas for them. But for the 5 weeks, I'll have a bullet journal theory video, and then for the 4 weeks, I'll drop the bullet journal theory video. So that's kind of what I was thinking for this content schedule. The next set of pages that I'm going to be working on are my video and blog Kanban boards. The setup's kind of the same, so I just fast forward the blog setup. But I created this layout initially in my 2021 January bullet journal setup, which I will link up in the cards for you above and you can check it out. But basically, this is where I have my task list of everything I go through when I create my videos or my blog posts, and then I just go through and check off as I complete that specific task. I found this was really great for remembering to do everything, especially when I have multiple videos that are sitting in various states of completion. And then I'm also able to go in and again see where each one is and pick it up from there and keep going. So I do this for my videos, my YouTube videos, and for my blog posts as well. I'm going to take a minute just to share a stamping tip. You can see I'm putting a sticky note down here. Early in the video, you saw me put paper down. I am masking off areas where I don't want the stamp to show up. Using sticky notes is easy because it's got the sticky piece that stays in place. And that way you just cover up what you don't want the stamped image to appear on. And it's such a great little trick to getting your layouts and stamping to be perfectly set up. there is my blog layout, which looks almost identical to my video layout, just the headings are different. Now, this next layout is one of my newer concepts for my setup, which I'm so excited about. What I did was I took my generic Kanban board, which again, if you watch my previous video from my bullet journal migration and setup, you'll see it there. But I combined that with the Eisenhower method. Now, in a nutshell, the Eisenhower method splits your tasks into urgent and important, important and not urgent, urgent and not important, and then not urgent or important. And so you can check out the blog for more information on that. But I thought this would be a great task workflow for things that weren't my blog or my video, obviously. And then just moving that along the scale into progress and expedited or on hold or ongoing and done. So I will report back on this and probably do a video on it once I'm comfortable or get a feel for how this works, and then let you know as well. The one creative element I wanted to touch on, I ended up alternating between doing solid line borders and dotted borders, and I thought this was kind of cool and added to the retro kind of mid-century modern aesthetic that I was going for. So the rest of my layouts is where my camera kind of started messing up. And by messing up, I mean my phone started running out of memory. But I set up a social media tracker again. And I'm so excited. And I do want to say thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed, whether it's YouTube or my blog or Instagram. But I had to change the integers on my graph. So in order to keep up with the growth. So thank you so much for being a part of that. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, the other layout that I'm always excited about, but unfortunately my camera copped out on me, was my budget. So for my budget, I have my craft budget and my work budget. And for my craft budget, I'm very proud of myself because I came up with the idea to include my subscriptions separately so that they're written down and I'm able to kind of keep track of them and remember what I'm subscribed to, because sometimes I just get caught in the hype or I get overexcited and then I don't remember to unsubscribe. So that's what that's about. And then my final layouts are courses and books. So courses are courses I'm taking on Teachable or Skillshare, courses that I've enjoyed, courses that I've paid for outside of those, and then just a little book tracker for me to keep track of the books I'm reading. Full disclosure, I've barely read one book this year. I've basically had the same book sitting there since January, untouched. And my goal now is to finish that one book before the end of the year. My final layouts are my wish list and shipping tracker layouts. Now, the shipping tracker layout gets pretty full pretty quickly, so that'll have a little mini version later on as that fills up. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm now going to over to my flip through so you can check that out. But thank you so much for your time today, and thank you so much for all of your support.